selling is not telling. Have you ever wondered how some real estate agents can walk into a room full of people and leave with 5 clients? And then there's some agents who walk into that same room and leave with no one. And I don't know if you know this. A lot of people are like, oh, well, it's just they're born with it. It's a skill, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm just introvert. I don't want to. No, there is a systematic framework that you can follow to turn any conversation into real estate. And that is what we're going to talk about today. As we jump into this, the underlying mindset that I would love for you guys to have is selling is not telling, it's asking. Many of you may have heard of that before, but integrating it deep into your psyche is so important to crush this concept. Also, letting you know that what we're talking about today are in-person conversations with people that you don't know already, or maybe you know a little bit. This is not specific to Instagram, which there is actually another framework and strategy for Instagram, for Facebook, for social media outreach and turning those conversations into real estate. But that's not what we're talking about today. Maybe we'll do that again soon.
This comes at a perfect time because literally just yesterday, Shelby, I was talking to an agent, a newer agent that she almost felt like it was nature versus nurture, which is kind of like what I'm feeling now. Like, going from a non-salesy W-2 just being told what to do to being an entrepreneur, a business owner where you're in sales. If you're in real estate, you are in sales. I'm sorry if you didn't know that before. Hopefully now you do. And so it's like, it's not a matter of, oh, I don't like being salesy or I don't have the skill set. You just learn it. You just do it. So follow whatever Shelby's about to say. I'm pumped for it.
Ellie's like, I don't know what she's about to say. We're about to find out. But I do think that this sort of thing really helps for the people who are just like that. To follow an actual framework. I know I'm like that. Like if I have it, and I know you are too, Ali, like if you have a checklist, if you have a system that you can follow, any activity that otherwise seems impossible is suddenly clear because it's just one step after another. And okay, guys, we're jumping in now, the 5 steps of turning any conversation into real estate. As I set the stage one more time, is that since this is in person, before we get to step 1, we are going to put you in the scene in which this conversation will happen. But the cool thing is you have the power to choose. You have the power to choose what environment, the people that you want to be around, the things that interest you. Because our goal in this industry is, a lot of us, it's longevity. It's building a life that we actually love living. And in order to do that, I have personally found it helpful to integrate business with my life. And that's a whole nother thing of debate. People are like, oh, business separate, life separate. I'm like, nah, dude. For me, it's all swooped in there together, which is why it's so important for you to go where you already like going, see people you already like seeing. So setting the stage. For example, if you guys are like, what are you freaking talking about, Shelby, right now? Which I said freaking, I think. I did not. I actually
think you did too.
A bad word. Okay, but we're going to go with that. I did not curse. These are some examples of places that you could go. Hypothetically, you're a dog person. You freaking love your dog. You could go to the dog park. You could go to those bark in the park events where you bring a 6-pack and you sit around with all the other dog lovers. Maybe you're going to an obedience class in PetSmart. Or maybe instead of animals, you have kids and you're going to your music class for the kids and you're going to soccer practices, the freaking PTA. These are examples. Or maybe you're like me and you are like a fitness enthusiast and obsessed with that. So maybe this is at your CrossFit class before or after class. Maybe this is at yoga or cycling or like a recovery room, whatever. Whenever you're around your people, an environment that you love being around, that is when we are going to move into step 1. Ali, do you have anything to say before I keep going?
You're further, like, I mean, you and I both have the same thoughts on this about how the way that I think about it, the business versus personal life, and how in the beginning, I think of me being a real estate agent, I categorize them as differently because that's how it was in my W-2. Like I was not hanging out with my fucking coworkers. Oops, my freaking coworkers.
I hate you so much.
Like, no, thank you. Like I wanted to keep the Air Force so far, far away. But in order to make this a sustainable and lifelong business, hopefully, the easiest way to do it is just to get clients of in the stuff that you are already doing every single week. So it's like the overlap. Have everything just be an overlap. So that way you're not like kicking your feet going to some chamber of commerce meeting that you don't want to go to, when instead you could be going to CrossFit and doing stuff that you're already doing for fun. Freaking board games, like literally anything. There are
Mhm.
clients. Everyone has to buy a house. Well, okay, that was a terrible statement, but people. Let me reword that. People that want to buy a house come from all walks of life, so you can find them anywhere. Okay, back to you.
Love it. Okay, now that you're at the place that you love being, which I'm just going to go with the dog scenario. I feel like it's pretty universal or easy to imagine. So you're there. Let's say you're at the dog park. And the step one that you're going to do is you're going to casually relate to these people who you may or may not know. And you do this by asking questions and complimenting when it's the truth. We do not lie. People do not lie because people will sense that and they hate it. So at the dog park, an example of what you could do to casually relate and ask questions is just like, oh, dude, wow, what kind of dog is that? Literally, these are just conversation starters, right? Or like, oh, what's your dog's name? Or how old is she? Or he, or whatever. Literally the most basic questions. And you are going to control the conversations with questions. So when they in turn ask you about your dog or whatever, you're going to answer them, but then you are going to in turn ask another question to maintain control of the conversation. Whoever asks the questions maintains the control. And I'm mentioning this up front because it's going to come into play as we continue on these steps, that you are the one who's steering in a natural flow, but you are the one who is controlling the movement in the direction that you want to control it, which ultimately is real estate. If you guys see what I'm doing here. And as you are doing this step one, casually relate, just a reminder that smile and be aware of your body language. Like Ali does a really good job with just being relaxed and casual, and like you never feel like she's like nervous or stuffy or you want something just because she's like so chill. So just, guys, if you're not naturally like that, you can practice. Get in the mirror, like get in front of someone, like how do I look like approachable, friendly, all those things. So you're going to be smile, you're going to be approachable, and then just be genuinely curious because people love talking about themselves. No one cares in the most part about other people. They're so cared about themselves. So when someone else takes interest in you, it's just like such a good feeling. And it's like, oh God, I like this person. I know nothing about them, but they like are curious about me. Instant like ability, right?
Yes, 100%. If you're on a 50-50 split, it's time to rethink your brokerage. At eXp, the split is 80-20. And once you cap, you keep 100%. We show you how to get there faster. I'm Ali Garced, or Ali the Agent. My sponsor, Shelby Johnson, and I each close over 40 deals a year. We are full-time agents actively producing, and everyone in our upline is an icon agent. When you name us as a sponsor at eXp, you get full access to all of our systems and checklists and templates, our 200K GCI playbook to help you make 200K your first year, direct mentorship and direct access to us, no huge group calls. We also help agents add another stream of income, which is rev share. We will help you with all the tools and trainings you need to build revenue share that will help you retire early. If you're interested in building an actual business, book a call at theagentgoldmine.com. Yeah, and that is something that you can learn. It's not, oh, this is how I am, or I don't like sales. You can learn this.
Yeah, totally. So that's step one. You're going to basically open the door. You're casually relating to this person. And step two, once you have broken the barrier, the ice, is you're going to guide this towards real estate. But don't rush here. All of this should be natural, go with the natural flow of the conversation. But this step two, guide towards real estate, here are some universal phrases. After you've talked about the dog or whatever. It's like, oh, are you from here? Or, oh, do you live around here?
Do you come here often?
Dude, For real, like turn on your creepiest face and then like change your tone and say, "Do you come here often?" Works every time. No, it doesn't. But that is the takeaway though, where it's like, "Oh, like you live around here?" And then it's from here, "Oh, do you like it?" Or what area? How far are you? "Oh, I'm over here." Do you see how we're guiding towards living? And then from that, you can use whatever you're talking about to figure out, wow, I don't know what that was. I just ate a
You
cicada.
sound like a
Dude, are there
smoker.
cicadas by you?
No, thank goodness, no,
We
no.
have so many and they're so loud. They just screech every day and they're huge and they just land on you all the time.
Oh my gosh.
Come to
No, we just
Kentucky,
have,
it's
like,
great.
polar bears up here.
But you could at the dog park, you could talk about the cicadas. But yeah, anyway, so now you are driving it towards the do you live around here, which is going towards real estate. And then deeper, you're using whatever you're talking about to figure out if they rent or own without asking directly. So like for an example with the dog, you can be like, "Oh, like did you have any issues like finding a spot?" Because a lot of landlords, have issues with dogs, especially if they have like a big or like you could use that breed to figure out and like
That's a good one.
oh, oh
That's a good one.
thanks, girl. Um, or, you could be like, "Oh, like, is that hard for your carpets in your house? Like, do you have to maintain that a lot?" I know that like my dog tears up the carpets or whatever. So, and then people will correct you, which is what you want. If you're assuming you're like, "Oh, like, was it hard to find a place to rent with a dog?" They'd be like, "Oh, no, I actually own my house." Awesome. Now you know. Or, do you have any problems with the the maintenance on the carpet? Do you have to replace it a lot? Well, actually, like I just rent, so it's not really my problem yet. These are all just things for you to understand if they rent or own. And then you can also dig deeper into figuring out if they have any pain points. So, if they're like, "Yeah, it actually was really hard to find a place to rent because of my dog." And then it's like, "Oh, like, is that something that you want to rent forever? Or you think about because, if you buy your house, like, have you thought about that?" And then you don't, that wasn't perfect. Because you don't want to you don't want to go too salesy too early. It's really important to keep their guard down. This sounds so bad. To keep their guard down and not turn on any sort of sales for honestly as long as possible. I think. But yeah, so you're driving towards pain points such as, oh, like, or maybe they're like, "Oh, I'm in the apartments over there," which is actually really hard because I don't have a yard. I'm like, "Oh, like, do you want a yard? Do you plan on like being here forever?" And that is how you segue. Do you guys see how we started broad and then we moved towards real estate by asking questions to figure out if they rent, own, and then what their goals and pain points are? Because once you find that, you can move into step 3. But Ali, I'm going to ask, do you have any questions first?
No, no questions. I like it.
Okay. Step 3, after we've guided towards real estate, is to identify any roadblocks and address them, whether they're a buyer or a seller. But let's just say, because we're sticking with this dog example, the person said, "Yeah, actually, I do rent and I don't have a backyard," which is pretty tricky with having a dog. And then you're like, "Oh, okay, well, it sounds like you'd be interested in buying. Is there like a reason why you haven't so far?" And then you try to pull out any sort of roadblock or pain point. So, is there a reason why you haven't bought yet? Or if they're like, "Man, I really want to move out of the apartment, but it's just, interest rates are so high right now." This is where you are looking for a problem to solve for them. And you're going to solve it for them by using open-ended questions to guide them towards your value, which step 4 is offer value and or set the appointment. So, but basically once you find the roadblock, for example, the one where it's like, "I'd love to buy, oh, but interest rates were interest rates were so high right now," whatever. Then you could say, well, actually, I don't know if you know this, but sometimes in some areas it's actually cheaper to buy than to rent. Like, did you know that? Because I didn't know that. I think that's another key point too, by putting yourself in the like, "I didn't know that, like I couldn't believe it when I found out," puts you in a position of less salesy, less pitchy. You're like humanizing yourself and making yourself more relatable. And then you could lead it into like, would it be helpful if you spoke to a lender and figured out actually what it would look like to buy in the certain price range you're considering? Because sometimes like it surprises people and they're like, oh yeah, that would be helpful. Perfect. Because you're looking for the would it be helpful? Would you be interested? You mentioned this. Have you considered? Those are the type of phrases that you're using in this phase, this step, to lead them into transition.
The close,
Okay.
baby.
To close basically. So it's like, would it be helpful for you? Oh, would it be helpful for me to show you what it's like to buy in 2025? Would it be helpful for me to link you up with a lender to talk finances like from an expert? Would it be helpful for you to know what homes are like actually worth these days, depending if maybe it's a seller? And then it's like, dude, I got you. I didn't mention it before, but I'm actually in real estate and I freaking love this stuff, especially when it blows my mind when I learn these cool things. And so like maybe it's a good fit for you too. And then it's like, okay, well, I'll connect you with my lender. What's your contact information? And I'll connect you guys. And then it's like way more smooth. You have the value that they want because you've just hyped it up. You're interested, you're excited. This goes back to the beginning. Like you have to be excited. Your enthusiasm is contagious. And people also don't want to shut down people who are enthusiastic because they're like, oh gosh, this person's so like the energy. I'm here for it. So then it's like, and then by the way, when you are asking for contact information, pull out your phone and look down and like be like, look at them as you're ready. Um, because there's something like when you're doing this, like, okay, Ali, what's your contact? I'll share it with you. When you're in this phase right now, you're more likely to get their contact information than if you haven't, or if you're like, can I have your number? Like people, that's not as it's not as smooth. But if you're just like, yo, dude, what's your number? I'll share it with you right now. That's like totally different, in my opinion. Ali, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the same thing. Otherwise, like, um, if you were to say like, "Oh, cool, like I'll get your contact information later," it sounds easy to say, but then like it's that much harder to
So
bring
hard.
it up after when you're just asking for the number. Like you're at that point like skipping all the rapport that you've just built because it's like that's like at a time frame that was far, far away. The moment's no longer there. So yeah, get the
Right.
number right then and there.
Right then, right then. And if you want to take it a step, and this is you're going to feel it out based on the conversation. Sometimes you can just get the number and then be like, okay, I'll coordinate. Or if you want to like turn it up a notch, you can be like, get their contact information, be like, okay, well, I have you. Do you prefer weekdays or weekends? Do you like mornings or afternoons? Okay, perfect. Does Saturday at 2 work for you? And do you see how that's again a funnel of yes, no, not really yes, no, like 2 option questions that will lead people into their own decision as to when to call them. Or, maybe you're doing the would it be helpful for me to show you what it's like to buy in 2025? And they're like, yeah, sure. And it's like, okay, awesome. Like, do you like weekdays or weekends? Boom. Morning. Well, what do you prefer? Like, do you like mornings or afternoons better? Boom. Okay, perfect. How about Saturday at 2? Is that does that work for you? And like that's another thing. This is another sales thing. But when you ask people, like you're leading them with your expression and with your body language when you're like, "Oh, cool. Like Saturday at 2 work for you?" Like you're plugging it in, but you're also like smiling and nodding at the same time, which is like I know. I didn't
That's what
know
I
this
was
was
gonna
going
no,
to
this is so good. That's what I was gonna say. For those not watching, Shelby was nodding the whole time, like, "Oh, cool!" Like nod, nod, nod. So Saturday at 2, nod, nod, nod. There's like a joke that I have with my friend group. That I mean, Shelby, you're part of it too. Let me tell you
Yeah, I was
the
like,
joke that we have.
"Excuse me, I'm your
No,
only friend."
when you are one of my best
Okay.
friends.
Okay.
That like whenever you ask for a discount, just ask for a discount with a smile and a nod. Like, oh, do you guys have like a discount? 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 Nod, nod, nod.
Yeah. Like, guys, be subtle with it. This is a good go. You can practice with a friend or like in front of the mirror. Because if you're like, I
Yeah.
thought,
You have to
make sure you
be
know what you look like if you
natural.
sound crazy. Um, awesome. So okay, cool. I'll shoot you a calendar invite if they seem like this is again, you're whatever. And then smile, energy, happy. And step number 5, which to recap, we have gone through. Step 1 is to casually relate. Step 2 is to guide the conversation to real estate. Step 3 is to identify any roadblocks. Step 4 is to offer value to fix said roadblock. And step 5 is the follow through. And I
Oh,
am
wait, can I
actually
add
shocked.
something?
Yes.
Maybe step 4.5 or part of 4 would be just something that I do to keep people so I don't forget about them, because typically when I add somebody out as a contact, then they're lost in the sauce of the alphabet, of my whole contact Bible. So what I do is I will add a color to everybody's like contact name. And so after I get their first name or last name or both or whatever, um I'll add the color beforehand, which I do yellow for tentative, those that have not yet signed like a buyer broker exclusive or a listing agreement. So I'll do yellow just so it stays fresh and top of mind. And then also at the end of their name, I will add where I met them and what time frame ballpark of when I think that they would be looking to buy or sell. So I'll put like July 2027. So that way, if I ever run out of people to talk to, I'll go back to my contacts list or my phone book, whatever. Yeah, contacts in my phone. And then I'll look up 2027 and then I'll look up July and I'll see like who did I forget about, in case you didn't put this in your CRM and we're more organized.
That's yes, because perfect, Allie. When it step 5 is follow through, which
Oh
is
shit.
no. It's literally like what you just said. So you
Oh,
nailed
my
it.
bad.
Because by follow through, like the key, of course, is to do exactly what you said you're going to do. You're going to follow through with the appointment, whatever, like, of course. But the follow through is also for yourself. So this is where you do what Ali says, where you take the extra time immediately after meeting them, add them to your CRM, add all of the notes, categorize them appropriately if you're using a CRM or whatever system you use, set them to an action plan. And then in case you didn't do this on the spot, which is another thing that you can do on the spot if the timing feels right, but if not, do it after the fact, is find them on social media
Mm,
and add them as a friend and follow them on Instagram. Because then even if you do forget and whatever, your stories that you're doing every single day are going to remind them that you exist. And thank God your handle is Ali, Realtor, Tucson, Arizona, whatever. So every time they see you, they're like, oh, that's that girl who talked to me about real estate at the dog park.
yeah. Another thing you could do too, which I think we've mentioned before, like when going to conferences, is if you have built the rapport, then maybe send a selfie either after the fact or some sort of if you haven't built the rapport enough for them to receive a photo of you, like just I do like a goofy photo. I'm like, so it's like, okay, Allie's personality. Oh yeah, I met her at the dog park. Okay, wait, I think I like her. She's pretty cool. So I'm like, oh, just like a goofy face. Um, Otherwise, I'll just send them a text. So that way, to me, that doesn't help them. It helps me have that not so that way I don't lose them in my iPhone contacts. Instead, I have a brand new text message thread that's at the very top, and then I'll pin it to the top.
Love it. It's perfect. And that's it. Those are the 5 steps of turning any conversation into real estate. And guys, this framework idea can also work for you at open houses. Except you're not going to be doing, I mean, you can casually relate, but like you already have something to relate about it. It's the house. But the idea of, casually guiding towards real estate, which you're already there, finding roadblocks, identifying them, offering value to set the appointment, and then following through. It's literally like this can be repeatable in a bunch of different scenarios. And that's it. That's all I have for today. Ali, did we miss anything or are we done?
I think that was it. If you have any questions, as always, we are The Shelby Show on Instagram and Ali the Agent, spelled ALI. Be a bro and share this show. If you're on a 50-50 split, it's time to rethink your brokerage. At eXp, the split is 80-20. And once you cap, you keep 100%. We show you how to get there faster. I'm Ali Garced, or Ali the Agent. My sponsor, Shelby Johnson, and I each close over 40 deals a year. We are full-time agents actively producing, and everyone in our upline is an icon agent. When you name us as a sponsor at eXp, you get full access to all of our systems and checklists and templates, our 200K GCI playbook to help you make 200K your first year, direct mentorship and direct access to us, no huge group calls. We also help agents add another stream of income, which is rev share. We will help you with all the tools and trainings you need to build revenue share that will help you retire early. If you're interested in building an actual business, book a call at theagentgoldmine.com.